Number 2, we also have an equation. Before we start, we want to be able to factor the denominators. So I see an x squared. I know I can factor my x squared as x times x. So I'm going to basically just separate it. Before I start to solve it, I'm going to find my restrictions. My denominator cannot be 0. Therefore, let me start with this denominator. X cannot be 0. Nothing to solve, so basically x cannot be equal to 0. Because if you have a 0, that will give you an error or an undefined. On the next denominator, the x cannot be 0, which is right here, and the other x cannot be equal to 0, which is right here. The 9 does not have a denominator, so we don't have to worry about it. Now I need to be able to find my LCD. My LCD, remember, the whole purpose of the LCD is to be able to find what do I need to multiply by each one of them so the denominator cancels. So I need to cancel this x. My LCD will be x. Within the same denominator, there are two x's. And I need to cancel them both, so I'm going to multiply by x and x. On the last denominator, I have an x, and that will cancel with the first one. So therefore, my LCD will be x times x. I'm going to multiply each one by x times x, each fraction x times x, x times x. Therefore, on the first denominator, on the first one, there's no denominator. So I just have a 9x squared plus the next fraction, the x's cancel, they both cancel. So I just have a plus 6. On the last one, 1x cancel, so I just have 21 plus times x gives me 21x. Nothing to simplify. I want to be able to make it equal to 0. So I can factor it and then use my 0 product property. Or I can use a quadratic formula. I'm going to move my 21 to the left, becomes a negative 9x squared minus 21x plus 6 equal to 0. Now I'm going to try to factor it. If I can't factor it, then I'm going to have to use a quadratic formula. First, you want to take out the common term or common factor. One number divides 9, 21, and 6. I'm going to factor a 3. What's left? What do I need to multiply 3 to get 9x squared will be 3x squared, then minus 7x, then plus 2. Now I can factor this out. I'm going to have 3x, and next factors of 21 are 3 and 7. I need to end up with a 9. So I'm up with a 7. Factors of 2 are 2 and 1. So let's see, I'm going to place my 2 in here because that gives me 6 and my 1 here, and they both should be negative because that gives me negative 6 and negative 1 will give me negative 7. From here, I'm going to use my 0 product property because it's equal to 0, and I'm going to bring my 3 down as well. I'm going to make each one equal to 0. 3 equal to 0? No. So that doesn't help. I'm going to place my 3x minus 1 equal to 0, x minus 2 equal to 0. Let me solve over here. The first one is 3x minus 1 equal to 0. Move my 1 to the right becomes a positive. Divide by 3, x is equal to 1/3. My second one, I have x minus 2 equal to 0. Move my 2 to the right becomes a positive 2. Now, does it conflict with any of my restriction? No. So they both are fine. One of the key things right here is to make sure that you have your x squared should always be positive, and always take out the common factor, and that will make your factoring much easier.